All right, what are we doing today? The learning targets are students can read and understand a simple story. The students can summarize what happened in a story. And some of our tasks are going to be to memorize the subject pronouns. Remember, that's the yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes. So we should have that down by now. Memorize the verbs associated with a story via Quizlet, and practice individually in Seesaw and in our Google classwork. The success criteria will be that I can retell what happened in a story without looking at sentences, and I can state my age when I leave from a place, when I arrive, and where I'm going. This will be some skill sets that we're going to learn in our first story. All right, so the verb that we need to know here is tener, which means to have. It is a go verb. And what makes it a go verb is simply the fact that it has a go here in the yo form, in the I subject pronoun. And so tener, we remove the ending, the ER, and we see the endings are o, es, e, hemos, es, and en. So it's yo tengo, tú tienes, él tiene, ella tiene, usted tiene, nosotros tenemos, vosotros tenéis, ellos, ellas, and ustedes tienen. So a common question might be, how old are you? And in Spanish, it's ¿cuántos años tienes tú? But notice that the verb we use in English is the to be verb are, but in Spanish, we don't use the to be verb. We use tener, which is to have. So it's how many years do you, and then the have is tienes. How many years do you have? All right, and notice that the word do is not actually here. It's understood because of the fact that it is indeed a question, and we know that from this little question mark that I just wrote all over. Okay, ¿cuántos años tienes tú? Again, how old are you? So to say I have, you would say yo tengo, and then however many years you have. So if you have 15 years, let's see if I can write a 15. So yo tengo 15 años might be an answer. Another important verb, salir, to leave, is also a go verb because there's a go in the yo form. So it's yo salgo, tú sales, él, ella, usted sale, nosotros salimos, vosotros salís, ellos, ellas, ustedes salen. So we remove the IR ending, and then we add these different endings that we see that are underlined. For each of the subject pronouns, there's going to be a different ending. So for yo, it's going to be O. For tú, it's going to be ES. El, ella, usted has an E, and so on as we see how it changes. Now, for the verb salir, these are basically the same endings, common endings that you will see in an ER verb as well, except for the difference is that in the nosotros form, it's imos for the ending. Okay, ¿a qué hora sales tú de la casa? ¿Qué means what? A las means at, and de means from. So here we have at what time do you leave from the house? Aquí tenemos la casa. And so we want to translate the question, or the answer would be, I leave from the house, and then at 7. So I leave is going to be the yo form of the verb salir, which is yo salgo. De is from. Yo salgo de la casa a las, and then our number we should know is 7. Yo salgo de la casa a las 7. Muy bien. Regresar is to return. So this is a normal AR verb, which means we're just going to add these different endings. These are the normal AR verbs that we just memorized. So remove the AR ending, and in the yo form, we add an O. In the to form, we add an AS. In the he, she, you formal, we add an A. In the we form, we add amos. In the vosotros form, we add ice. And for the they form and the you all form, we just add an AN. So the pronunciation is yo regreso, tú regresas, él, ella, usted regresa, nosotros regresamos, vosotros regresáis, ellos, ellas, ustedes regresan. ¿A qué hora regresas tú de la escuela? And so what we're asking here is, at what time do you return from the school? And we're going to say, I return at 3, which is simply the verb regresar conjugated for the yo form, which is yo regreso. And then remember from the previous screen that at means a las and our number 3. Yo regreso a las 3. The verb ir is irregular, which makes it a little more challenging because it doesn't follow a nice pattern. We have to just memorize it. So for yo, it's voy. For tú, it's vas. For él, ella, usted form, it's va. Nosotros vamos. Vosotros vais. Ellos, ellas, ustedes van. So a sentence might be, I go to the house, which is yo voy a la casa. So the verb ir is followed by an a because the a means to. So we go to the house. Muy bien. ¿A dónde vas tú? To, this is the to. Where, the question word, where do you go? So again, donde means where, and a means to. This is a little video that just goes over the conjugations of the verb ir. And I'm not going to play it on this video. All right. The verb decir means to say. It is indeed a go verb, so it's yo digo. And it is also something that we call a shoe verb. A shoe verb is simply something where we see a stem change. The E here turns to an I, but it only does that in this section here where you can see I have drawn the shape of a shoe. So we call this a shoe verb because these two conjugations here do not get the stem change. The E stays in E. So hence that's called shoe verbs or boot verbs. All right. ¿Qué dices tú? This is from the verb decir, which is to say. What do you say? Say. And the do is implied because it's a question. Después de la clase, yo digo chao. This is to say after, después de the class, I say chao. ¿Qué dices tú antes de la clase? So to say before, it is antes de, and to say after, it's después de. And that's our last slide, and I hope this has been helpful. Ciao, nos vemos.